come in. And you can sit right here. So my name is Autumn, and I'm the athletic coordinator here at Bijou Weddings, and I'll be interviewing you today. So I'm assuming you found the place all right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. I know it's a little tricky sometimes, but okay. So the main purpose of our interview today is to get to know a little bit about your experiences that make you the right fit for us here at Bijou Weddings, as well as get an idea of what skills you've acquired over your years of experience that give you the skills needed for this position. So let me tell you a little bit about how the interview is going to go. So first, I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourself and about your experiences, as well as ask you a few questions that hopefully give us an idea of what experiences you've acquired, as well as ask you a few hypothetical questions that relate to your job, if you get it here. And finally, I will end off by telling you a little bit about us here at Bijou Weddings and what we strive for, and then ask you if you have any questions. So do you have any questions right now before we start?
Not yet.
Okay, perfect. Well, then let's get started. So first, I want to know a little bit about yourself. So just tell me a little bit about what makes you the best candidate for us.
Recently, I was working at OHSU in their Inclusion and Diversity Department, and one of the main things that I worked on during my time there was I provided project management for their Soul Stroll activity, and basically it's hosted by the African American Health Coalition, and we were really trying to get people on the campus, including staff and students, to really go out there and make an effort to engage with the community in a new type of way. We have done it in previous years, but there was a hiatus, there was a gap of about maybe 2 years where we hadn't done it because we simply didn't have anyone to go and do that project. So I really tried to take an initiative and see if people were interested. We only needed a team of about 10 people, and when you think about OHSU, it's pretty big, but it's a matter of finding people who were willing to be committed, because there was a lot of interest when we first started. Then when it got close to the date, people were kind of dropping out like flies. So it was really about making those connections with people and checking in with them, because sometimes people forgot about it, and so it just simply slid off their calendar, and then you had to remind them, hey, are you still interested? And it was very costly in the fact that we had purchased t-shirts for them, so we still gave them the t-shirts even if they did not choose to participate, because we had already paid for them. But we really tried to make an effort to provide additional things for the people that actually did choose to participate.
Okay, cool. So the next question is, I know from your resume that you have quite a bit of experience doing research for various things, but do you have any experience planning events? If not, what skills do you think would be applicable to this job?
Okay. In addition to the project I just mentioned, I was also part of the BSU, and part of that was promoting activities, which is just going to meet people. And also during our meetings, we would discuss the steps for planning and implementation. So that was a very big part, and I was part of that for 3 years. So I have experience planning different events. We did the African American Read-In. We hosted smaller events with guest speakers for our people in our community where they could come. We also hosted panels, so a range of different events.
So what kind of skills did you need for your event planning?
My primary task was recruitment.
Okay.
Going out and finding people to partake in the actual event itself, particularly student recruitment. And in recruiting students, it's kind of about knowing where to find them, kind of thing. For example, it might not be the best idea to advertise it just by poster. Sometimes you have to go and you have to talk to people, or you have to send out emails, reminders, things like that. So it required a lot of different types of communication skills in that aspect.
Okay, cool. So here's kind of a hypothetical question. So you have a meeting with a potential client. What are some topics and priorities would you want to cover to prepare for their wedding?
One of the main things that you would kind of need to know, I would probably save budget for the end, but towards the beginning, I would ask them things like, what would their ideal wedding include as far as like venue, getting an idea for a feel of the type of wedding that they want, particularly like venue, food styles, if there's any particular type of allergies. You want to work through the thing about a wedding is it's about a vision. And so you really want to make it the experience that they want. So in the beginning, you kind of want to get their ideas. Then you can ask them about their budget at the end. And then from there, you can say, well, this is what we can feasibly do. So that's the way I would tackle it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. So a bride, here's another hypothetical question. So a bride and groom are set on a certain venue or vendor that we offer. But it exceeds their budget. What do you do, and what is your next step of action?
One thing that I would ask them is what in particular is it that draws them to this particular venue or this particular vendor? If so, then maybe I can find something that's comparable. And even like one way I would do it is kind of an experiment. Bringing in food, if it's a vendor, bringing in food from that vendor and a comparable vendor and asking them to taste it.
Yeah.
Can they tell the difference? Because sometimes they're so caught up on the name and what they think it's perceived to be that they kind of have already written off other potential vendors. And so by letting them see, okay, hey, this is just as good and it's in your budget kind of thing, in the end, there's only so much that you can do when you're working with a budget, but you want to try to please them as much as possible. So if you find out what it is that they like, you can work with that.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Okay, so another hypothetical question. We're very creative here at Bijou Weddings. So a bride that you're working with comes to you asking for some advice on how to deal with an overbearing mother-in-law. What do you tell her, or what advice do you give her?
The first thing I would probably tell her is that you're not marrying per se the mother, you're marrying the son. And sometimes life is not going to be 100% what you want it to be. And so you have to learn how to cope with that particular part. There is a way to be respectful and cordial, even though, because you're going to have to deal with her.
Yeah.
It's his mother. There's no way around that. But you can kind of make it an experience. Maybe later on down the line, as you get to know her, you will find things that you respect, that you admire. And that's through time. You first meeting someone, you're not going to say, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this person.
Yeah.
I would hope not. If you're marrying someone, you know, use that same logic, but kind of taking the time to get to know that person. Maybe even going out to lunch. If they've already tried going out to lunch with the mother-in-law, I would say maybe just give it some time and just make it a gradual thing, because they're going to be around, and if you want to be in that person's life, you're going to be around too.
Yeah, that's good. So kind of expanding on that question, let's say the mother-in-law wants the color of the wedding to be a certain color and is set on that. What kind of advice would you give the bride on how to handle that situation?
Well, I would personally tell her that it would be in the best interest to tell the mother-in-law, take the approach of, when it was your wedding, you got to decide what you wanted to do. And because you decided what you wanted to do for your wedding, I feel like you should give me that same kind of respect and allow me to do what I want to do for my wedding. And of course, I would always stress, do that with respect, and be as nice as possible when you're saying this. But I feel like there has to be a line drawn, because it's your wedding. You only get it once. If you're trying to please everyone else, it's not going to be the wedding of your dreams.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It's actually very close to exactly what we were looking for. Okay, so another hypothetical question. So you're coordinating a wedding for a young, fun couple, and the reception is outside. The band was scheduled to play and is running a half an hour late. What 2 songs do you play to stall?
I would probably ask them for their cell phone or their iPod and then do a shuffle, and then those would be the 2 songs that they would pick, because I feel like, per se, the couple, what they're listening to reflects who they are, and so what they have on them personally would be a reflection of who they are, and that's what a wedding is about. It's about reflecting who they are. And so, per se, not just grabbing one from one couple, but maybe if they have that option, asking them, hey, can I use a song from yours? Can I use a song from yours? In a very nice way. You don't want to stress them out. Sometimes if you can feel that the bride is a little uneasy, it might be best just to go to the husband, hey, can I borrow your phone and pick 2 songs out of there? Because you don't want to add on to that stress of the fact that the band is running late.
Okay, so here at Bijou Weddings, we are kind of on the more creative and fun side, so we want to kind of see if you fit in. So this question is a little out there, but what do you think is your spirit animal and why?
I would say a bunny, like a nice chocolate little bunny. And the reason why I would say a bunny is because they're cuddly, they're adorable, and they're survivors. No one really notices a bunny except they're like a tiger or something and they want to eat it. But in most cases, they dodge into a hole and they get away, and they are resourceful. They use what they know. They know their habitat, so they use that. So I would probably be a bunny.
Yeah.
Just like cute animals.
I like it. Okay, so now, do you have any questions for me about anything?
Okay. I have a question just for you. How long have you actually been here, and how did you actually get started into this particular field?
Yeah, okay, so I've been here for around 3 years. I met my fellow employees at the University of Portland, and we all kind of had the same dream to plan weddings, especially here in the Portland area, so kind of the Portland culture. So, I mean, finding people that had the same dream as me, and then being able to incorporate that into what I love really made it not only a passion and job that I love and want to stick around, but it's kind of made me love to come to work every day and, not dread the idea of a job, because, you're helping other people's dreams come true, which is essentially like just amazing in its own.
So you said really catering to the Portland culture. The Portland culture is so diverse. Like, is that part of the interesting part of your job? Is that you kind of do diverse weddings?
Yeah, we do very diverse weddings. Here at Bijou Weddings, we take into, we hold it up high to make sure that we cater to all cultures as well as different budgets, whether you don't have a lot to spend on a wedding but really want, a quality wedding. We take that into consideration and really focus on being able to give weddings that are low budget but high quality, as well as work on high budgets for essentially just as good quality. So, and of course, like being in such a beautiful area, we're able to have venues on the coast or at a vineyard or at the mountains. So, yeah.
So I have a question, just hypothetical. As far as like outdoor weddings, because Portland is so extremely diverse in its weather, do you guys typically double book venues? For example, having an alternative for if it does rain?
It's definitely something we talk to the bride and groom about. Usually it's not necessarily a double booking of a venue, but it's more of a making sure that the same venue, no matter if it's raining or sunny, that we have tents on backup, as well as a gorgeous inside venue as well. So And then that also having tents on on hold allows the wedding to take place both inside and outside. So it gives you kind of the full quality of the venue you chose. So yeah. Okay. So did you have any more questions?
No.
Okay, cool. So just to conclude, I wanted to tell you a little bit more. I know I kind of just discussed what Bijou Weddings represents, but just a little bit more. So here at Bijou Weddings, we are committed to the quality of events, no matter what budget it is, as well as helping people that have low budgets have the best quality and make their dreams come true, no matter what. And we also take pride in working with our bride and groom in a way that makes them comfortable. So being casual yet business-like at the same time. And then we also take passion in planning every wedding like it's our own. So really making sure that wedding is the best quality they'll get, which has shown to be very successful in pleasing our bride and groom. So, if that's it, I'd like to thank you for coming, and wanted to let you know that it was very nice to meet you and interview you, and that you should hear back from me within, I think, a week or two on Bijou Weddings' decision.
Okay, then.
So, thank you so much.
And this is actually my cover letter and resume.
Okay.
I brought an additional
Oh,
copy.
thank you.
Okay.